Originals. Découvrez en avant-première nos interviews sur les séries qui font l'actu.
Beta Série, partenaire média du Festival de télévision de Monte Carlo 2022.
À cette 61e édition du Festival de Monte Carlo, dont Beta Série est partenaire, nous sommes avec le président du jury fiction, Neal McDonough, que vous connaissez des séries comme Desperate Housewives, Linéaire d'Arrow, etc., qui est présent aujourd'hui. Hi Neal, welcome back to Monaco.
Thank you very much. Nice to be back for sure.
To prepare this interview, I browsed your IMDb page, and you have like 4 or 5 projects coming out this year. So you had quite a busy year, I guess.
Yeah, we've been blessed that my wife and I, for the last couple of years, during COVID in particular, was like, okay, what do we do now? There's really nothing shooting. What can we do to be creative? So we created our own movie series. It's been fantastic. From Redstone to Boone, my production partner, our production partner, Jason Starn, and Derek Presley, my writing partner and director, we just got very creative. So we did those 2 films, and we have 2 more films that we've written that we'll be working on consecutively in the next several months. So I'm a very blessed man to be able to do what I love to do, and I get to do it alongside my wife, Retrouvez. So for me, it's been some of the greatest achievements of my life has been the last couple of years.
So she's playing an active part in the production side?
My wife has always played a very active part in my career, whether it's reading the scripts or just talking to me about running lines with me, whatever the case is. So now finally we get to do it together on a professional scale. So it's great, and then we put our kids in the show.
Nice. Wow.
They're going to work craft service of the stunt department or extras in the film, or if they get good enough, we'll give them some speaking roles. So it's in the family blood
affair
at this point, so it'll be a family company. So I'm really looking forward to the future with the McDonough Company.
And somehow you found time to squeeze in jury duty here.
How can you call it squeeze in when it says Monte Carlo? This is our 3rd time here, and 20 years ago I proposed to my wife here, so it was... it's a magical place for us, and the prince and the princess have been they've been great hosts for everyone here, not just for Retrouvez and I. It's a wonderful atmosphere. I get to see great friends that, again, during COVID you couldn't really see many friends. So to be back here and see old buddies like Jason Priestley and all kinds of other guys, and it's been just really a wonderful trip so far, and I'm so blessed to be part of it, and to be the president this year of the jury for fiction. Has really been an honor for me, and I've seen some incredible television and movies the last few days. So I'm very honored to be part of all of it, and it's a wonderful experience.
This year's competition is as diverse as always. You have like light drama with A Private Affair, a Nordic noir with Trom, and psychological thriller, etc. And of course, as a watcher, we have these docu-fictions and a lot of them. So as a TV consumer, what kind of shows do you like?
Well, it's interesting. We have 5 kids, so I generally don't get to watch a lot of more adult fare. It's more kids shows, for the last 15 years.
Paw Patrol?
Yeah, a lot of Paw Patrol. Curious George is probably the go-to in the house. So when it was such a treat to be able to sit down and watch a lot of great television, and so different. I thought it would always just be the American shows that I would love to watch or be voting for during this. But it was so many other shows from different countries, and great shows from Italy and Spain and Hungary and Germany and the Danish. Drama was phenomenal. All these shows that we got to see, it was an eye-opener for me to see different types of filmmaking and different types of cinematography, and the way they would go about things that we might go about it a little differently in the States. So I'm going to draw from a lot of it and use a lot of these filmmakers in the future or collaborate in the future with some of these filmmakers, because it was really a treat to watch the difference between the American system and the European system, and it's fantastic. And to be a judge for this, what an honor that is. So I'm very, very fortunate to be here.
Among the other judges, you have producers, pillars of the industry, and other actors, of course. So were you surprised that maybe you all agreed on some specific things, or you all disagreed on specific things?
No, I think that I wouldn't call it agreed or disagreed. I think we all had our forum to choose what we thought was the best thing, whether it was the best actor, whether it was the best actress, whether it was the best show or most creative show. We all kind of talked through it, and we had a vote, and there was nothing was unanimous. And, everyone had their different takes, and that's part of being creative people, as we all are in that room. So, but at the end, we all kind of agreed basically on what should be the right choice. And even the ones that, if you voted one way and something else had won, you'd understand why the other one did win. So nothing was. I wouldn't say it was easy because there were so many great performances, so many great different directing jobs. It was a challenge, that's for sure, because you didn't want to leave something out. One of the great things is the jury prize at the end, where I get to mention a few other categories, a few other people who should be singled out for their amazing work, because there were so many different things. Antoine Fuqua's directing was the last 15 minutes of that show that he did. I mean, I was just riveted by it, and then you see someone, without giving away too much.
Of course.
It was really awesome. It really was.
And as an actor, are performances the first thing you see, or you're more focused on the story or something else?
Generally, as an actor, for years I would always just focus on the acting. And again, again, still as an actor, that's what I do. But now, as a producer and a filmmaker, I look more at the cinematography. I look at the colors. I look at the scheme and the design of how they wanted to show it. And I learned a lot from my director, Derek Presley. He directs with colors, and there are certain colors that he won't allow into a frame until it's that moment, and then he'll introduce a certain color. So there's a palette that you look for also in the shows, and how the filmmaker uses those different colors to bring the story forward. That's just as important to me now as the acting. And when you get to see both, when you get to see really fantastic acting and a director who really worked very hard to tell the best story possible, that's the treat. And when you see it on a European scale, through their eyes, it's different than the American eyes. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. They're both fantastic. But it is a treat for me as a filmmaker to be able to borrow from the European filmmakers now and say, that's an interesting way of doing that. So it was really fantastic.
And of course, you've been on numerous TV shows, but in France, you're probably the best known for Desperate Housewives. It's incredible how Desperate Housewives is a phenomenon here.
Every time I come here, people go bonkers because of Desperate Housewives. And it's funny, that was 10 years ago, and they still, they go crazy for Dave Williams. And it's, I've told the story, Revé and I, last time we were here, we were driving around and we were a little lost. And I was going kind of down a wrong road the wrong way, and a police officer stopped me. I was like, oh no, Then he calls for backup, and another officer shows up, another officer shows up. Like, oh no, and they come up and they go, Desperate Housewives! And then I'm outside taking pictures with the guys, having laughs, having the best time, and it was really just, I love coming back to Monaco. It's our happy place. Again, it's where, it all started with my wife and I here, and to be back 20 years later, and next year we're going to make sure we bring our 5 kids back to show them why mom and dad love this place so much, and it's like Disneyland for us.
So you're usually a one-timer on shows, as in you go just
right.
for one season. So why is that?
I like the design of the shark for my career, kind of. Okay. I like going in and hitting something really hard, and then getting out and then trying something fresh. I always like keeping it fresh. That way I can do TV, I can do movies, I can do commercials, I can do cartoons, I can do anything that I want, really, without having to be, you're that guy from. Years ago I did a couple of shows that were on for a couple of years, and I didn't really quite enjoy the challenge of being the #1 guy on a show for the seasons. It wasn't really creative for me. Now it's different because you have 10-episode seasons or 8-episode seasons or 4-episode seasons. That's different. So that's something that I've really been enjoying. But I like moving around. I like going into situations and really just building a great character and then watching that character have a finale by the end of the season. To me, that's the icing on the cake for me. And
just to wrap this up, what's the last TV show you've binged besides in competition, of course?
I don't really binge a lot. Probably the last one that I binged, because I never even watch myself, of all the shows I've been in, all the DC comic shows or Yellowstone or any of those shows, I generally don't watch them. However, this year I watched American Horror Story because I played Eisenhower on American Horror Story, and I watched all the episodes, and I was just amazed at what Ryan Murphy puts together and how he thinks this way and what he does, and the filmmaking. Obviously, they have a great budget, so they can do extra things that a lot of shows can't. And I was really taken by it. What they do on American Horror Story is just truly remarkable, and I was blessed beyond belief to be Eisenhower on the show for the year.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Originals, découvrez en avant-première nos interviews sur les séries qui font l'actu.
Beta Série, partenaire média du Festival de télévision de Monte Carlo 2022.